Hi, everybody. It's Miss Celeste here, and we are now on week 2, part 8. So this is the last video for week 8. So congratulations. We are almost halfway through this course, or course objectives, I should say. And today we're going to really focus on teaching aids and really what that looks like, and really what they are, in a little bit more detail. I always love this saying about, I hear this little quote here on the page. I hear, I forget, I see, I remember, I do, and I understand. This is something that I always share in a lot of my either presentations or courses that I teach, is just because I really want us to kind of hone in on understanding how much that experience matters and how much you know importance that we need to create this prepared environment for children, because they will be successful if we spend the time doing that and supplying them with opportunities to learn, at their own pace, and with tools such as teaching aids to kind of guide them through that. So I definitely think, we definitely hold a lot of responsibility when we're creating that, for students. And so please don't take it lightly, and really hone in on the importance of really capturing that environment to really meet the children, that you have their needs within that classroom. So when you're really viewing or setting up your classroom, say for the year, just making sure that you are really thinking about those children and what is going to benefit them. What do you need? Such as supplies. What lessons should we be approaching first, etc. Asking great questions, to parents to really get to know their child, because obviously you're not going to know that right off the bat, but you definitely can ask and kind of get to know them through their parents' eyes first, which is a good opportunity, to do. So first, I'm just going to make sure that we are doing and completing our journals, our assignments, making sure the chapters are being read, and you're definitely getting some helpful information from those. Please share any great information out of those. If it's not through our lives, feel free to send me an email. I love some collaboration that way, or any takeaways. And then also, after our live sessions, you're more than welcome to do a reflection. It is extra credit. You don't have to do it, but it is a great way for you and I to connect, and for me to really understand what you're gaining, what questions you still have, and ways that I can support you on those specific questions individually. Okay? All right. So why do we use teaching aids? Well, we definitely use them for many reasons. We reinforce what we're saying, new concepts that we're using. It ensures that your point is understood, right? Signals what is important, essentials, what's really the meaning of what we're doing, why we're doing it, what we're trying to have the children gain, right? It really helps students to visualize or experience something, go through the process, in such a meaningful way, when they're able to kind of experience it with certain aids that kind of cater to their needs. It allows us to engage or stimulate students' other senses in the learning process. So sometimes what's so great is you might find that new skills are developed through different teaching aids that possibly are new to the child. Maybe they were always a visual learner, but also they gained something from listening to a lesson, or being more hands-on in a lesson, for an example. So there's so many learning opportunities that are happening with these teaching aids that kind of happen sometimes with us in the classroom. And then also just we get to facilitate different learning, styles, because we all learn different. So utilize this moment as a teaching moment. Get to know the different learning styles so you can be familiar with this learning style when you're also teaching other children, through your experiences in the classroom. So why do we need the teaching aids? Well, because every individual has the tendency to forget, right? Us as adults sometimes forget. We all forget. So using proper use of teaching aids can help retain more concepts permanently within the brain. So we can also find connections to kind of relate to that or remind us, right? So having these teaching aids can be so helpful to really retaining that information. Students can also learn better when they're motivated properly through different teaching aids. Teaching aids develop the proper image when the students see, hear, taste, and smell something, of course, depending on the lesson, getting them involved through that process, and allowing them to exercise their senses through all of it is so magical. Teaching aids also provide a complete example of conceptual thinking. So they really allow them to kind of dive deep into what they're learning. They really also allows us to create an environment of interest for the students. So we're really focusing on their needs. So when it's of interest, they have so much fun, right? Building those connections because it's something that they can connect to and understand. It also increases a vocabulary for students, which is very important, especially in early education. So finding many ways to kind of exercise words, conversations, sentences, speaking in that tone of, sentences, being specific of either what they're requesting or what you're requesting is very important, because then that's also building upon how they develop sentence structure, how they understand vocabulary and meanings of things when they are speaking with specifics. So for an example of, say, a child needs something, instead of either pointing to it or making a noise when they can fully speak, I would encourage them to use the word. So what is it that you're asking of me? What is it? What can I help you with? Or how can I help you? And then let them kind of tell you what that is, regardless if you know what it is or not, let them tell you. And then others are teaching aids help the teacher to get some time and make learning permanent. So when you have teaching aids, sometimes it could allow more independence, right? More opportunities for children kind of lead their learning, which then allows you to kind of step back and have more time to either observe or get ready for the next lesson or whatever that may be. Because there is independent work that needs to be had in every environment. There definitely should not be an environment where you're constantly kind of leading at all times. Children are capable of leading their learning, so we just have to let them do it and experience that. And then, of course, teaching aids provide direct experience to the students. So all of this experiences really help develop, those concepts and help them retain all of that helpful information that they're learning. So students' ongoing benefits. So what do teaching aids really do for students in general? So the students are motivated. Students have the clarity to the lessons, right? We want them to understand what they're learning. Students feel confident with what they're learning. It increases knowledge in a specific area. So there's always a purpose, a focus, an objective of what we're trying to get them to gain within a lesson that we are introducing or teaching or leading. So really have some clarity of that approach before you teach a lesson. Really get those details and also goals that you want them to master at the end of a lesson, because that's really going to help you also assess not mostly what they've learned, but also how you are relaying the information, how you're teaching them, how you are kind of guiding and teaching that lesson, because that also can speak volumes to how you're teaching, because there's always room for improvement. There's always other ways of doing things. There's always other ways of finding more clarity, and that's okay. That's part of what we're doing and how we do it. And like I always say, there's no one size fits all approach, because just because you're doing it one way, maybe 5 students get it, and then maybe you do it a different way and 10 students get it, or none. I mean, it just really, it's kind of just something that you have to continuously exercise and challenge yourself to change and continue to make better. So applying more opportunities for success through teaching aids, well, it really supports students' learning needs overall. So it really helps get into how they learn best. So supplying these aids can really support their learning needs. And then also, knowledge is power. So it really gives them an understanding of what they're learning with confidence. And then also, again, building their confidence is number one, because we want them to be, very confident within themselves, because of course there's going to be challenging moments that they're going to have to encounter, so we really just want them to be able to go through those different challenges with ease as much as possible. And lastly, thank you so much for your time. I know this was a lot of information, and also, I'm really just trying to get a lot of this information to the point. I appreciate your time with all of these videos. This is the last video for week 2. So next week we'll get into week 3. And if you have any questions, please reach out. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.